Hello, Football Tribe family. Welcome back to the channel. Robert Kesakos is your usual suspect. Now, we got some breaking news regarding transfers, and this is regarding Manchester United captain Bruno Fernandez. Yes, Bruno Fernandez is a wanted man by some Spanish giants. But before we get into that, happy Eid to all our Muslim brothers and friends. Eid Mubarak for you all and whoever else is celebrating Eid. I hope you're enjoying the weekend. I hope you're enjoying the FA Cup fixtures that did come your way on Saturday and those that are continuing as I record this. Preston North End and Aston Villa are still goalless in the second half. Meanwhile, later on, it will be Bournemouth up against Manchester City. But yesterday, we did confirm Crystal Palace did advance to the semi-finals of the FA Cup after beating up against Fulham by 3 goals to nil. Eberechi Eze, Ismail Sarr, and Eddie Nketiah were the ones on target there for Oliver Glasner's side. Meanwhile, after a goalless draw post, normal time, Nottingham Forest did beat up against Brighton and Hove Albion and knocked them out 4-3 on penalties there. So that's the FA Cup summary, and we do wait for all the teams that will advance to the semi-finals of the oldest competition in English football. Now, transfers. Yes, Bruno Fernandez is a wanted man by Real Madrid. That's according to the Daily Star. They are reporting that the Whites are interested in signing Manchester United captain Bruno Fernandez, who is very integral to this team. 44 appearances for the Portuguese international since the start of this season, recording 16 goals and 16 assists across all competitions, giving him a 32-goal involvement there. So, the Manchester United captain is a wanted man. Yes, he does shrug his shoulders more often than some fans would want, more often than Roy Keane does enjoy to watch, but it is what it is. He's a very integral player. He's the captain of the Red Devils, and I'm very sure that they would want to keep a hold of him. But Real Madrid are very, very interested in his services, and they look at him as a potential replacement for Real Madrid's captain in Luka Modric, who could be leaving at the end of this season. Yes, so Luka Modric is what, 38 years of age or even more, probably 39. I mean, he's really edging it out. That's for the 2018 FIFA Ballon d'Or winner. But Real Madrid, very interested in signing Bruno Fernandes as his replacement. Very capable player in Bruno Fernandes. I think it would be the right choice for Real Madrid. Whereas Manchester United will reject any offer for their captain, they could be enticed into selling because they do want to raise some funds if they are to stay clear of the concerns from the PSR rules. That's the profit and sustainability rules of the Premier League. So we've spoken extensively about Manchester United's finances. It's a topic that we've discussed on the channel before. If you don't remember, go check it. Go check out those episodes on the channel. We all know that their books financially do not look good. They've had to, lay off so many employees. Initially, they laid off 250, and next month a further 200 will be laid off. So many changes have been made in towards saving some money, including the cancellation of Sir Alex Ferguson's £2 million annual contract as a club ambassador there. So many things have been done at Old Trafford to try and save money to make sure that the club stays afloat. We all know that they do have a debt in the excess of £1 billion. We all know they are 13th on the Premier League table, so that means that there are chances that they may not qualify for European football, which could further, dent their chances of making some extra money. We all know that they're looking towards a project of building a new stadium, so money could want to be dedicated to that. We know that there are some players that want bigger contracts, and the likes of Kobe Mino, who, according to the Manchester Evening News, did report this week that United could be willing to let him go if contract talks break down, because there is still a disparity between what the club is willing to offer the player in terms of wages and what the players' camp are demanding. So since he's a homegrown player, he could really demand for. He's still a very young player, so he could command higher fees. They're looking at anywhere around 70 million pounds plus if they find a suitor. So there's that. Then we all know about the situation between Chelsea, Jadon Sancho, and Manchester United. I think we discussed that sometime last week. We all know that Chelsea may want to sort of fulfill their obligation to buy Jadon Sancho for 25 million pounds at the end of his season-long loan, and instead pay the 5 million pound fine to United to give him back. And I'm sure United do not want that and that kind of situation. Marcus Rashford, he has already, the writing is on the wall that he has expressed his interest to play his football from elsewhere. He's already on loan to Aston Villa, and reports do suggest that Aston Villa are intent on keeping him on a permanent deal. That's buying him fully from Manchester United, should they come to an agreement with the Red Devils on the transfer fee. Initially, a reported 40 million pounds would have been sufficient, but given his recent form for Aston Villa, that earned him a recall to the national team for the first time in a year, could kind of escalate his price tag to anywhere around 60 million pounds, since we all know the English tax that comes with English players and that kind of thing. So that's the news coming out of Manchester United. So because they want to stay on the good side of their finances, especially the PSR rules, they may want to make some player sales to raise some funds. We've already discussed extensively once again on the 11, I think, potential players that could leave Manchester United in the summer, and that in a bid still raise money. There's been talks of Andre Onana leaving with expressed interest from Saudi Pro League clubs, and then of course United wanting James Trafford, that's the goalkeeper at Burnley, to replace him. And then we all know that they just signed Aiden Heaven in January and Patrick Dogu, but they would need midfield reinforcement. We do know Christian Eriksen could be on the exit. The likes of Johnny Evans in that centre back, Victor Lindelof, they could all be on their way out of the club. Potentially, maybe Harry Maguire, although I do not think that will happen. But either way, they will need reinforcement in that area. On the flanks, if Rashford is to leave, they will need to sign a winger. They are interested in signing a striker. Jonathan David has been discussed, although it doesn't look like at this point in time United will advance on talks in signing that one. The other player that has been discussed in the United circles has been Jeremy Frimpong, who had a youthful career, I think, at Manchester City before moving on to, I think, Celtic in the Scottish Premier League. That was around 2019, where he impressed and then earned himself a move to Bayer Leverkusen in 2021. He's since been very impressive that side under Xabi Alonso, winning the Bundesliga last season and also reaching the finals of the Europa League, where they did lose to Atlanta by 3-0. Ademola Lookman scoring a hat-trick in that particular final, which Bayer Leverkusen did lose. There was a lot of interest for the player last summer, with clubs like Arsenal, Man City, and Man United mentioned in that conversation, as well as Chelsea. But as we speak of present day, Liverpool are really considering Jeremy Frimpong, especially bearing in mind of the imminent departure of Alexander Trent Arnold, who could be on his way to Real Madrid at the end of his contract come this summer. So Liverpool, who could be rivaling United for Jeremy Frimpong, but a return to Manchester City is also not equally ruled out, as Pep Guardiola will be looking to rebuild his squad furthermore in the summer, a project that he has already started on in the January transfer window with all those signings of Omar Mamosh that we do. Remember Victor Reis, the defender, and the others. So keep an eye on that one. But Chelsea are also interested in signing Jeremy Frimpong, according to the speculation that we are receiving on our desk. Then the other player that has been really mentioned around the transfers around Manchester United has been Xavi Simons, there for Paris Saint-Germain. Yes, he's one of those players that has been discussed as an attacker that Manchester United could be interested in. But we are waiting to see how situations do unfold. But do let me know what your thoughts are on Manchester United, potentially losing their captain in Bruno Fernandez, arguably their best player for the last 3 consecutive seasons, in my opinion. So do let me know what your thoughts are on that potential deal. Should Manchester United cash in on him, or should they, do everything it takes to keep a hold of him, as he is the inspiration of this Manchester United team in their dark spell? And then maybe we'll discuss more of the United this season in the subsequent episodes. But allow me bury this one here and wish you the best of a wonderful Sunday and Eid Mubarak to you all. See you next time. Stay blessed.